digital radio.
Worldwide at xfm.co.uk.
This is XFM.
Hi, this is Adam.
Hey, this is Joe.
Thanks very much for downloading our podcast, which this week, I'm afraid to say, is coming from the St. Thomas's Hospital accident and emergency area.
Yeah, I'm afraid, listeners, I've had a bit of an accident. I was on a folding chair in my garden, and I tucked my hand underneath it just as it collapsed. And I caught my whole hand in the chair, so now my hand looks like it's a Smurf's hand. Oh. Sorry, I'm speaking a bit loudly. But it really hurts. I'm having to jiggle it constantly. That's the only way to stop thinking about pain.
Right.
If I jiggle the knee, then somehow that takes my mind off the pain.
Don't you think it's quite nice that I came along with you, though?
It's very nice, man. It's very touching.
Do you know what I'm saying? I really didn't want to.
Yeah.
I would have got out of it if I possibly could have done. But it was socially awkward to do so, because the thing is that I feel as if the chair collapsing was partly my fault.
Right. Why?
I kicked away
You sabotaged
the back of the chair.
Why did you do that?
I was a little drunk, and I thought it would be funny. It was like a bit of hijinks.
A bit of jackass-style prankery.
Yeah, and it all backfired all over my
Man,
ass.
you're right. We're taking the wrong attitude to this injury.
Mm-hmm.
We should regard it as a kind of student jape.
You know, if that had happened to Johnny Knoxville...
He'd be laughing.
He would laugh, and Steve-O would smash him in the face, and then he'd...
drink a big glass of horse's jizz.
You know, exactly.
And then get a nail gun and fire a nail into his nuts.
And the
laugh
you know,
at the joy of life.
And they'd kick the wee man in the face, and then they'd stomp on the injured hand there. None of that's happened to you.
If you saw Johnny Knoxville in the streets, you could just pick up a piece of wood and smash him in the head with it really hard, and he'd go, and you go, you what's your name? And you'd be great friends.
Yeah,
because he'd feel you understood him.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, someone who can cut through all the bullshit and just hit me in the face with a piece of wood.
Mind you, he's unmuggable, isn't he? I mean, if you were trying to mug Johnny Knoxville, you could slash away at him with a knife until his skin was lacerated, like the Mel Gibson Jesus film.
Now we're going to have to do a disclaimer.
Why?
Because you've gone over a kind of line there.
Why? It's an imaginary scenario.
You were talking
I'm not
about...
suggesting anyone does it.
I know, but people...
I'm just saying that if you tried to attack Johnny Knoxville, he's like the guy on Friday the 13th. He'd just laugh at whatever you threw at him. Someone would film it and he'd release it on DVD, and then, he'd have won the day.
This is good, isn't it? You see, we've taken your mind off the pain.
It really hurts, man. And when are they going to see to me? I haven't even seen... You've got to go through about 3 nurses before you actually get to someone who can do anything, right?
You certainly do.
I've been through in one night. And a couple of doctors. And a couple of
paraplegics. You were going to say paramedics, and then you thought, no, I'll say paraplegics instead.
I didn't think that at all.
Yes, you
I've
did.
never slept with a paramedic.
Oh, Christ.
What?
We'll be back shortly.
Bye-bye.
That sounds interesting, let's talk about it. Let's start talking now.
Do you think the following would be a good idea for an advert for KFC?
Mm-hmm.
The advert opens on the underground. There is a KFC bag with stuff in it, but wrapped closed at the top, sitting unattended on a bench.
Yeah.
And a bomb squad are closing in around this bag. Okay?
Yeah, I think I know.
Are you liking it so far?
Yeah.
They've got one of those robots on wheels that's approaching the discarded bag of KFC.
Yeah.
And I haven't quite figured this out yet, but there's 2 guys behind an explosive barrier, protection barrier, and they're operating the remote control robot, going, approaching the bag, KFC bag now, open the bag, and you see the robot open the bag. And I don't know what happens, but the point is, it's exploding with flavour. That's what it pivots on.
It's so delicious that the robot starts just munching it.
Starts eating it.
And then
it's something to do with playing it as if it is a bomb, because it's exploding with flavour.
That's the bit that's a bit
like
testing.
A taste bomb.
Uh-huh.
Okay? It's not in good taste.
No.
It's in poor taste.
Is it? Yeah.
But that in itself is something to play on because of the element of taste.
That's right.
And tastiness.
Yeah.
So line 1 is exploding with flavour. That's the dialogue.
Yeah.
And then maybe the strap line is the best taste in bad taste you've ever tasted.
That's good.
How's that?
That's brilliant.
Now, in the future, when people are so inured to sudden acts of terrorism, like when there are bombs every other day,
I'm 10 minutes late, darling. Bomb. Can we just point out at this point for our stupid listeners that we are not making light of various terrorist tragedies of recent years?
No, we're merely in a flippant and fripperish way extrapolating what the future might be like.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it would be terrifying if it was like that, but we should gird our loins for society turning into something like this.
And in that event, Joe's idea for a new KFC ad
would be ideal.
would be brilliant.
That was interesting, we talked about it. Let's stop talking now.
I was talking about something else.
What were you talking
Xanthi,
about?
our assistant, thinks Barney is the sexiest name that a man can possibly have. Hello, listeners. This is Adam and Joe on XFM London's 104.9.
I like the name Barney.
Our producer Xanthi thinks Barney is the sexiest man's name. And I was saying, I think Barney sounds like a idiot toff farmer or just a backwoods yokel. Hello, Barney. It's not a sexy name.
Do your impression of Barney again.
Barney, hello. That's it.
What have you been doing, Barney?
I've been putting jam on my fingers and I've drawn a picture of a doorknob without the door.
What are you doing later?
I'm going out with Xanthi. She thinks I'm sexy. She thinks my name is sexy. I'm going to take her to the haystack and show her my model I made out of twigs. I'm a model of twigs made out of twigs. She thinks it's sexy.
I've got a blog. Rudy, Rudy, blog. I've got a blog. Here's the address. It's adam-buxton.co.uk. So check it out.
What have we got there, Joe?
Yeah, shall we just explain what we're doing again in case anybody's just tuned in?
Okay.
We're just, we've been asking you for your sort of fashionable, zeitgeisty rhyming couplets because we're trying to create our own kind of version of Robbie Williams' new single Rudebox, which is just a kind of, what's the word, like a swathe of trendy rhyming words.
A smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord of trendy rhyming words. And we've had some good ones in, okay? You ready for these?
Come on, hit me.
How about this one from John?
Yeah.
All I see is Starbucks. John Prescott looks like Uncle Buck.
Nice.
And Cherie needs a nip and tuck.
Hey,
that's good, John. Very topical,
good,
very
yeah.
satirical. Cherie put on a bit of weight.
Starbucks, they're everywhere, aren't they?
There's hoodies on the street, but no bobbies on the beat. There's Polish people eating sausages and pigeons with no feet. You see, that's quite a good one, isn't it? Pigeons with no feet, that's a good observation.
Why haven't they got feet?
Well, because they're all mutilated.
Well, who's
all
been
the pigeon-
mutilating pigeons?
You. I don't know, all the pigeons in London are all scraggy and mutated.
I've never seen a pigeon
I've
with no
seen
feet.
lots of one-legged pigeons.
That's
Look,
a practical-
Xanthi's, you don't get out enough, man. You're on your bike. You don't take the time to stop and look around at pigeons' feet.
They're just hobbling around on stumps.
Yeah,
That's
often.
grotesque.
Some of them are. I've seen headless pigeons.
No, you
walking
haven't.
around eating with their bums.
I believed you for a second there. I was thinking, a headless pigeon? I don't understand how that could work.
Oh, there's nothing sadder than a footless pigeon. Anyway, that's really good, Anonymous. I wish you'd put your name on it. Here's another one from Emily in Whitechapel. We're all at home. Oh, did I do this one already?
They eat with their bums.
Well, if you haven't got a head, that's all you can do, isn't it? You just have to reverse the
With
process.
their bum teeth.
Yeah, they're muscles.
Bum beaks.
Yeah. Emily in Whitechapel. We're all at home watching Big Brother. There's a boy in Iraq just lost his mother. We're all at home watching X Factor. There's questions about Iran's nuclear reactor. Emily in Whitechapel, that's almost too strong.
That's
Made Xanthi look depressed.
That's kind of serious, Emily in
She's having
Whitechapel.
to think about a man called Barney. Cheer herself up.
That's a good rhyming couplet, but that's just serious, you know?
That is quite depressing. We're depressed now, Emily in Whitechapel.
That's
What
just
have
a
you
good
done?
point.
This is from... do you want more? So
Yeah.
a couple more.
Tiny bit more.
This is from Danny. I'm the 1 in 4 that's obese. All I want is cakes and peace. I'm going out tonight, dressed in lycra, cruising for ladies in my Nissan Micra. Now, he didn't write ladies. He wrote a ruder word that also applies to kittens. But I put the word ladies in. But that's quite good, isn't it?
Xanthi's
I'm the 1
still
in
thinking
4
about
that's
that.
obese. All I want is cakes and peace. I'm going out tonight, dressed in lycra, cruising for kitties in my Nissan Micra.
Very good. Thank
How
you.
about this one? Wait. Mark in Chesham. Kids in Africa ain't got no grub. I read about it wirelessly on my BT hub. That's really good.
That's good.
Anyway, we haven't got any more time.
No, I think we should play some more music, and you know, we've got to rehearse.
We've got to work on this rap, yeah, so we might just play 10 songs in a row while we work on our rap.
This is XFM.
Hey, this is Adam and Joe. We're still in A&E. We still haven't been seen to.
No, well, she's inspected my hand, and she's figured out that although incredibly painful, it's like I'm not going to die.
Right, no broken bones.
So, yeah, and there are other people here who are bleeding. Mm-hmm. There was a man that came in with heavy blood loss. I don't know what the deal was with him. There was somebody who'd clearly freshly fractured their foot, and they've all gone in ahead of me. I'm like non-life-threatening, so we're going to be here till 4 in the morning, man.
I know, it's not looking good. What's the worst injury you've ever had?
I think my feelings have been hurt worse than my body's ever been hurt. Does that count?
Have you ever had your feelings hurt so badly that you've actually gone into A&E and tried to explain it to a doctor?
No, man, I will. I bet you if you did go into hospital and said, "Hello, I've got a broken heart," they've probably got a procedure. They'd make you wait. They'd take it seriously and make you wait.
Yeah.
Then they'd wheel you into a special room with a really handsome doctor or a beautiful nurse with some chocolates.
And then, the nurse would kiss you?
They'd put you on a bed with lovely soft sheets, and she'd stroke your forehead, and she'd kiss you, and she'd feed you the chocolates, and then she'd show you terms of endearment.
Terms of endearment would not do the trick.
No, that's about a
she
terminally
dies.
ill woman.
She dies.
Yeah, but it's cathartic.
That wouldn't cheer you
think,
up.
at least I'm not dead.
Well, anyway, you're dreaming. It's the NHS, all right?
It's true.
They haven't got time to treat the real sick people, let alone...
Yeah, what do you mean?
I don't know. Don't know.
That's true,
Not
man.
enough
I wish they'd
beds.
hurry up. This is really starting to hurt.
Do you want a Mars bar or something from the vending
I've had
machine?
enough Mars bars. I just want them to call my flipping name. Are you going to stay while they go in and check this out?
Do you mind if I just go out and, do some texting or something? It's just so depressing in here and it stinks.
All right, you can go out.
Thanks, man.
I think they're going to see me in a second anyway.
All right, I'll come and check on you shortly.
XFM.
What's the sequel going to be to Snakes on a Plane?
Oh, gosh.
Spiders on a boat?
Mm-hmm.
Or dogs in a car? Ants in a sandwich?
I thought potatoes on a table.
What would happen in that? Where's the threat?
I don't know, but it's more interesting, isn't it? I mean, you realise that alternate titles had been done to death for Snakes on a Plane.
Have they?
Yeah.
Where?
People have been doing them for the last 8 months.
Why? What are they? I haven't heard any of them.
Everything.
Where?
On the internet.
Oh, the internet.
I mean, most of the dialogue from that film was written by bloggers on the internet.
Right.
You know all that, though, don't you?
I don't.
It was famously so popular just as a title
Yeah.
that fans wrote what they sort of wanted to see on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
And as a result, they did reshoots and shot a lot of the stuff that people on the internet had made up.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a stinker.
Yeah.
Pebbles on a beach.
Pebbles on a beach. With Sam Jackson would be in it doing wisecracks.
Yes.
We got a motherfucking pebble problem here. Don't you understand? Lord knows, these pebbles are uncomfortable on my motherfucking feet.
Yes.
That's what Sam Jackson's like.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, flavour on a tongue.
Jam on some toast?
Yeah, on a...
Oh, it has to be on A. Jam on a
Jam
toast?
on a toast. That just sounds like some sort of a jazz film. Shirt on a man. How about that?
Get that motherfucking shirt off the man! If you don't take that motherfucking shirt off, I'm gonna shoot you in the fucking face!
That's too exciting. Hands on a clock.
If that fucking hand reaches 6, we're all fucking dead. You motherfucking understand me? Disconnect that motherfucking clock!
What about words on a poster?
Objects on a desk.
Well, that's like potatoes on a table.
That's maybe the follow-up.
Mick Rock jingle, take 1.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm Mick Rock. Rock and roll. What a great thing rock and roll is. I remember Chuck Berry. This is Mick Rock.
Yeah, nice, think we got it.
Now, I think I found the most boring book about rock and roll ever written. 33 and a half is the series of books, and I've mentioned them before on this show. They're like little pocket-sized books, and you can buy them in record shops and bookshops and stuff, and they're about so-called classic albums, you know?
Yeah.
And I read one about the Pixies' Doolittle, which was really, really good. It was fantastic, really enjoyable.
But the one you've got in your hand is about OK Computer.
Yeah, which is one of my favourite albums, you
It's
know?
a whole book about one album.
Yeah.
And if you're a muso and a nerd and you're really in love with an album, it's nice just to wallow in lots of anecdotes and
Details, yeah.
discussions about how the album came together. And anyway, the guy who wrote this book is a professor in music, and I think he immediately says in the beginning of the book, this isn't going to be just loads of anecdotes about the band and how the album came together. And you just think, oh no, that's what I wanted. Instead, he takes the most clinical approach to music that I've ever read in my life. Check this out. Let Down is fast, but doesn't necessarily sound fast. Fitter, happier, also sounds looser and freer than the speed indication suggests. The slow section of Paranoid Android is just over 60 beats per minute, so that looking down at the second hand of the watch will show its pace. Let Down is 2 to the second, and again the watch will show how lively that is. Electioneering is 5 beats per 2 seconds. Slower paced songs fill the time easier simply by working through their verses. Additional material will be found in the medium and quickly paced songs. And it goes on like that.
Not very interesting, is it?
For pages and pages.
That's not interesting.
And pages. And I struggled right the way through the book, hoping that it would suddenly get interesting, but then it just takes more amazing turns into stupefying boredom.
But you'll still read it, won't you?
Yeah, I will.
The whole thing.
Yeah, I will read the whole thing. Because I'm a jerk.
This is XFM.
It's time now for our Robbie Williams Rudebox rap.
Wow.
Constructed entirely from suggestions
Sent in by listeners, yes.
sent in by listeners for kind of up-to-the-minute topical rap stuff.
Oh, I need to do a wee.
I need to do a wee as well.
Really? Maybe it'll give us an extra edge.
No. Yeah, what, you mean being desperate to read?
Yeah.
Possibly. I've heard that Robbie actually, he never wees
Really?
before a gig. Yeah, he
Really?
goes on there absolutely busting.
Really?
Yeah. Busting. So right the way through he gives it his all, you know, and then he just pees for about an hour and a half.
Really?
After a gig,
It's
yeah.
amazing.
It's
That's
extraordinary.
amazing.
So how are you feeling, man? Are you, have you got your couplets
Well,
organised
obviously
there?
I'm nervous, but also I'm street, so I don't care.
Your street? That's interesting.
How are you feeling?
Not very good. I'm not such a good rapper.
Really?
So are you going to go first on the rapping?
No, you're going to go first.
Yeah.
To the root box, shake your root box. To the root box, shake your
Ooh. Come on. My bum smelt like strings of cheese, but it's okay cause my pants smell of Febreze. Check out a band on a MySpace website. Finish up your drink cause you can't take it on the flight.
All I see is Starbucks. John Prescott looks like Uncle Buck. Oh dear, my lyrics do not fit. I think my rapping bit will not be very good. You take over Adam Buxton quickly cause I've made a complete chuckston.
Arctic monkeys, Tonys, flunkies, kids getting fat, Jamie Oliver junkies, Happy Meal, Happy Slap, politicians talking crap, Princess Diana Memorial Fountain, substantially gayer than Brokeback Mountain. Thanks,
that was
Paul in
good.
Cambridge.
There's hoodies on the street, but no bobbies on the beat. There's Polish eating sausages and pigeons with no feet. We're all at home watching Big Brother. There's a boy in Iraq just lost his mother. We're all at home watching X Factor. There's questions about Iran's nuclear reactor.
Wow.
Thanks.
Have you got more?
Yes.
Go on.
I have.
Are you willing
I'll
to
be doing
freestyle?
them in a second. No. Okay, you ready?
Slamming tequila with Al Qaeda, Israel, Lebanon, raise a thing like what?
I'm the one in 4 that's a beast. All I want is cakes and peace. I'm not going out tonight dressed in lycra, cruising for kitties in my Nissan Micra. I am going out. I don't know why I said not. I am going out. I am. Go on, you do some quickly.
I've run out.
What? I'll give you some more. Hey, okay, how about this? Bush and Blair blatantly lied like art is a cow in formaldehyde. I'd like to take President Mugabe to Nobu for sushi with wasabi. After 8, after dark, stabbings all up in a local park. All aboard the Cutty Sark. Hezbollah's bite meets Israel's bark.
Way!
I've got more.
More?
No, there can't be more. People will go mad.
That's,
Take their own lives.
yeah.
XFM. Yes, it's XFM, and it's in London.
Hey, this is Adam and Joe back at A&E at St Thomas's.
Yeah, you'll be relieved to hear, ladies and gentlemen, that I've been to the doctor and he inspected my hand and it's going to be all right.
No broken bones.
No broken bones.
You know, are you friends with any doctors?
No.
I wish I was a friend of a doctor. Do you know what I mean?
They're useful people to have for friends.
I think your life would be perfect if you could have amongst your friends a plumber, an electrician, a computer expert, an accountant, and a doctor. Those 5 friends. That's all you need. And then you would just... all the major stresses of life would be alleviated.
Yeah.
You know?
What if you found people... not only did you round up that group of friends, but you found people whose first names alliterated with their job. Like Pete the plumber.
Donny Doctor.
Don the doctor. Yeah, and you could just call them by those names.
Why does that make a difference?
Well, then your life becomes kind of like a Fisher-Price world.
I'm not
Of
suggesting
amazing simplicity.
that life should be like that. I'm just saying, in the real world...
But this could be real. This is an achievable goal.
Well, you're obsessed by calling your doctor Donny Doctor. I'm obsessed by
But that
getting
would be
medical
brilliant.
care. I want to be able to ring up my friend,
Imagine how
whether he's
comforting
called
it would
Donny
be.
or not, and say, listen, I'm worried about this lesion.
You've got a leak in your house, and it's called Pete the plumber. Imagine how soothing that'll be.
Yeah, but no, seriously, if you had a friend that was a doctor, wouldn't that be great? You could just... Because do you worry a lot about this and that?
Not really, Adam.
Do you not?
Well, yeah, I do worry, but I'm kind of...
Fatalistic.
I'm fatalistic. I model myself on Gérard Depardieu.
Do you really?
Or a French bon vivant.
Yeah. Do you even have like a big false nose that you put on?
No, but I remember in an interview once, Gérard Depardieu poo-pooed the idea of being too hypochondriacal. A peu de cette idée. Peu de idée. L'idée que vous avez dit. Peu.
What was he saying?
He poo-pooed the idea of being too much like a hypochondriac. Because, you know, I subscribe to the theory that if you just live well and are happy, I think happiness can cure any disease.
How much is a subscription to that theory?
Free.
Excellent.
But you know, I think worry can kill.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's proven, isn't it? Anxiety, stress. But then it's not very nice hearing that when you really feel there's something wrong with you. And the best the doctor can come up with is, you're very stressed out at the moment. You got a lot on your mind. You're like, yeah, mainly the thing I've got on my mind is that I feel really ill. So will you tell me what's wrong with me? You know
Does
what I'm
he say
saying?
that?
Yeah. Have you never had that?
No, your doctor sounds like a psychotherapist.
That's what they always say. That's what doctors always say now. If it's anything that they can't cure with an aspirin, they just say, are you under a lot of stress at the moment?
Well, that's it from St Thomas's Hospital.
Yeah, it's time to go home. You're happy, are you?
Yeah, I've got some painkillers, some drugs. The hand will be sorted out. It's just going to make for some sleepless nights.
And that's not the hand, is it?
Nah, luckily it's the left hand.
Sweet.
So I'll still be able to paint.
Thanks a lot for listening.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye, love you, bye.
XFM.
This is XFM.